I guess before I get started, I'll announce some fights for you guys here. This Miami card is stacking up to be badass. Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland. Song Yadong versus Jan. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della. And Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. Who's got the first question?
We're just going to drop Michael Venom Page in there? Like, it's a new matchup? I mean, what do you think about it?
These are the fights for Miami.
Main event, a little bit of a perplexing main event, I guess. What were your thoughts on that?
I guess my take on it is, and you guys can let me know what you think, but when you're 35 years old and or any age in this sport, you're like, yeah, I'm going to wait. Waiting is never a good idea in this sport. This sport doesn't wait for anybody. And I think he looked slow tonight. He got out-wrestled. Leon looked good. Leon looked fast. Looked like he had trouble dealing with his speed. And then getting out-wrestled, too. And not to mention the fact that Leon absolutely destroyed that leg, too.
Yeah. So we talk about him waiting. I mean, I think the thought was along the way that you guys were kind of holding him out for a title shot. Were there other fights you wanted for Colby?
I don't ever have anybody wait in this business, man. This is not a business that waits for you.
Yeah.
Your windows are very short, and you never know once you start getting up into your mid-30s when you're going to show up and just not look like you anymore.
Yeah. Bilal Muhammad was the backup this week. I think you said he's next. It still seemed like the next fight for you.
I'm not even thinking about that right now.
And last thing I'll ask on the main event with Leon, do you have an idea, like, let's get him back to England now, or we like him here in the States now, or do you have an idea, a plan, like, where it makes sense for him to fight?
Obviously, it makes a lot of sense to have him fight in England. If you look at what the kid's done, he beat Usman twice and just beat Colby. You know, Colby's the guy that I was saying if Usman didn't exist, he'd probably be the dominant champion in that weight class, and Leon beat them both. So, yeah.
Nice.
Much respect to him, and he looked incredible tonight.
I do have to ask, I know you said that we're in the fight game and people say mean things, but did anything this week bother you at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It bothered everybody, I think. Listen, what I say is true. We're in the fight games. Lots of mean things are said, and one of the things that I really don't like is family. When you start going after family and whether it's the kids, the wife, the parents, the whatever, it's just such a nasty thing to do. But again, this is one of those sports where you say horrible things and then 24 hours later it goes down. You know what I mean? And that's why tonight you saw Leon's corners going crazy, and I went over and said, guys, listen, you won. You won in the most dominant possible way to win. You out-wrestled, you out-struck, you completely dominated tonight. If this turns into what it could possibly turn into, he's going to get fined. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You won the fight.
Last one for me. Do you have to, like, when Colby brings up, Leon's murdered father, do you have to pull him aside and say, like, hey, maybe don't say stuff like that? Because Leon tried to get after Colby at that press conference you weren't at.
100%. Yeah, no, I don't ever tell anybody what to say. You know what we will say? Guys, when you go out on that stage, do not touch each other. Everybody thinks that I love when these type of things break it. No, I don't love it. And more importantly, the commission doesn't love it. And the commission is the government. So, no, we don't like this stuff, and we do everything in our power to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Dana down here. With Colby and his performance tonight, obviously the time away from the cage probably was a factor, but do you think there was pressure on him, like, involving Trump to the level he did, wanting the belt wrapped around by him, 35 years old, potentially last title shot? Do you think maybe the pressure got to him a little bit?
Yeah, I think pressure gets to everybody. I'm sure Leon had a ton of pressure. I mean, he was just talking about what he said about his father, and, the last thing you want to do is now go out and lose to that guy. All these guys deal with pressure. But Colby's been in big fights before. This isn't Colby's first rodeo. He's been in big fights, and Colby just looks slow and old tonight, in my opinion.
Did Trump give his feedback on Colby's performance?
No, I think everybody felt the same way. I mean, he got out-wrestled by Leon tonight about what's too much and when it comes to the trash talk. After that press conference, or during, in the middle, or whatever, pay-per-view shot up 25%. Literally, you can literally, and it wasn't like they were, like our analytical team was basing it off YouTube views. They were basing it off actual pre-buys while the press conference was going on and ended. 25%. Globally, too. Not just on ESPN. Globally, up 25%, which is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Do you happen to know Trump's
Well,
reaction?
I mean, like I said, I think he felt the way everybody felt. I mean, I don't know what you guys' opinion was, but mine was that he looked really slow. He had a hard time handling the speed. Could never really get off because of the speed, and even got out-wrestled. So, you know, he didn't voice anything. He waited till Colby spoke after the fight and wanted to hear his, you know, his interview. But no, didn't really have much to say.
Colby was saying that if he had won, Trump would have wrapped the belt around him. Is that true?
No.